The following show is a paid program.
Hey, this is Cam Hill on the Cam Hill Show. I'm so excited that you all are joining me on today. Today we have SHANEDRIA Wagner with us, a trilingual educational consultant, author, and tutor. And we're going to be talking about the impact of COVID-19 on education. Hey, lady, how you doing?
Hello, good afternoon, Cam Hill.
How are you? I'm so excited about today. Oh my God.
I don't think you're more excited than I am.
Trilingual educational consultant. Let's say something in another language. Tell us something.
Bonjour et merci de m'inviter au Cam Hill Show. C'est un plaisir d'être ici avec vous. That was French for thank you for inviting me to the Cam Hill Show. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And now in Spanish, muy buenos días y gracias por invitarme a estar aquí contigo hoy en el Cam Hill Show. Es un placer estar aquí contigo. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, wow. I love it. Everybody has been waiting on this day just to even meet somebody that knows 3 different languages that looks like us. Wow. Yeah. How did that come about? How did you think or look into different languages? What inspired you?
I was studying at Lanier Middle School Vanguard, and it was my 8th year, and it was time to select an elective, and the Spanish class was full, so I opted for French. And I fell in love with my French teacher, Madame Ben. And then I went to Lamar High School pre-IB, and I had Yvette Michel Dijon. It was a teacher, a Creole woman from Louisiana. Everyone thought she was my mom, and she taught me French my freshman year. And one day in class, she mistakenly began the lesson in Spanish, and we had to remind her, oops, Madame Dijon, c'est un cours de français. This is a French class. And then I thought, oh my God, she speaks 3 languages. So I wanted to be Yvette Michel Dijon. I wanted to be this woman. And so when I decided to pick my major for Texas A&M, she told me not to major in just one thing. So I chose to major in speech communication and French, 2 BA degrees, and I minored in Spanish. And it all began with a dynamic teacher like Yvette Michel Dijon.
Oh, wow. Love it. We're talking about today the impact of COVID-19 on education. And that has been a hot spot for the world now, because it's now time for our students to embark on either starting school in the classroom or online. First of all, why did you decide to go into education?
I think education or teaching was as natural for me as breathing. I was definitely on the right track to enter corporate America. I had studied communication, but again, those are skills that are very transferable. And I had a lot of hands-on experience with organizational structures and management and leadership. And I was mentored by some of the best people on campus. The leader of our Memorial Student Center told me to go into business. He said, take a few business courses and you'll have it made in America. But while at A&M, I always served as a tutor. I tutored for Les Cercles Français, which was a French circle. And I always enjoyed teaching. And when I became a graduate, I thought, do I want to go on this Rolodex full of these Aggies who could give me jobs? So I want to do what I really love. And it went against all that I was told. All of my educators told me not to become a teacher. They said, be a doctor, be a lawyer. My mom certainly was not excited about my choice initially. It was in my heart. Right. It was in my heart. I know it didn't make much sense. I knew that I could always do a side business. I could always enter corporate. I could always do that. But I felt that real purpose and calling was simplifying complex concepts with facility and with ease and with music, with motivation. I wanted to be the correction of what I saw with some of my own teachers who were just not cut profession, and they ruined lots of dreams. They killed a lot of dreams due to their imperfections, and I just wanted to kind of right that wrong. I think
I like
that's
that. I
essentially
like,
why.
yeah, I love what you said about that. I love the fact that your passion in it. And then the consultant part, the educational consultant, where does that come in?
So before I talk about that, I must say another reason I love teaching is this too. Teaching the classroom was like my stage because when I was a little girl, I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be, I wanted to be a physician. I wanted to be to do all these things. And the classroom was the one place where I could control the situation and I could become different people to teach I could be that actress, that proud nerd who liked to discuss, facts and write and edit, all the things that I love most. I could be that singer. All those things were able to come alive when I walked into my classroom. I know that sounds crazy. But when I was teaching, I was that teacher who typically connected with my students with music. I would take songs from the radio, for instance, when I would teach French, and I would do Name That Tune, and I would sing a popular song in French or Spanish. I would create my own workbooks and my own curriculum because when I taught bilingual education, I saw there was a lack of material. And so I had no clue that all the creation of the materials and the creativity in the classroom and the popularity among the students and the training that I had done for teachers as a teacher even were all preparing me to become a consultant. So I recall turning down 2 promotions. I was offered a job my first year teaching at Ali Middle School. I was teaching French and Spanish and speech. I was offered a promotion to leave the campus I was at to go to another campus, have a secretary, teach 3 days a week, and have office hours for advanced students. I turned it down. I wanted to stay in that Title I school. I was offered a job as a reading trainer by Dr. Andre Hornsby, who was area superintendent in HISD. I turned it down because I wanted to stay on campus. I didn't feel my work was complete. So the third time I had an opportunity to leave was when a speaker came to our school. His name is Eric Cork. He was conducting a professional development training. And I was also on the program that day, I think singing or doing something for the staff. And he thought, oh my God, you speak Spanish. You're a great trainer. Have you ever heard of consulting? I had never heard of consulting. He and his wife exposed me to what that looked like. They were already traveling around the country. And he said he always had difficulty when he got to schools. He never felt that he was really servicing those students who don't speak English as a first language. And he goes, oh, with your language background, you have no idea what awaits you. Teachers need your help. So from there, I went to one conference in San Diego, California, the NAPSI conference. And from that one presentation, I was booked in 3 states, and then I never looked back.
Wow.
So booked in Seattle, Washington. I was booked in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I was in Indiana and booked in Compton, California. And because of the need, the severe need for training that teachers had, and word of mouth, I didn't really spend much on marketing even. It was just, I had no clue about the need for hands-on practical training that teachers needed.
Right.
They didn't really connect with students. They needed to know how to integrate that music, that movement, the mnemonics to make learning fun, but also have the rigor necessary. So I kind of fell into that. I didn't look to leave teaching. In fact, I didn't want to. I loved teaching. Yes.
I love the way you speak and are passionate about it, and just to be able to help those teachers and not knowing that it was a market or a place for you in that, never knowing that,
I never knew it. I know that a lot of teachers were accustomed to people coming in who were consultants who would talk to teachers or just discuss their expertise, what they've done with teachers, tell the teachers what they should do. Well, the kind of consulting I am is the kind who will not only train the teacher, but I go into classrooms and actually show them with the students there. I model with them. I meet them where they are, whether they need help with lesson planning, whether it's time, whether it's controlling your class, whether it is modifying your lesson to meet the needs of your students, whether you're bilingual, who is not struggling with English yourself, and you're trying to make sure you give your students proper ESL instruction with the Spanish dominant instruction, whether you are a native English speaker trying to reach those ESL teachers, whether you need help with math, reading, writing, or grammar, I'm your girl. But pulling things from my toolbox, to pull things from my toolbox, and it also challenged me to even broaden my toolbox. I've created so much material in the past 20 years by responding to the needs of teachers and problem solving and troubleshooting, and I love it. So what is difficult for a teacher or a principal is easy for me. You know, when they're scared of test scores, they're afraid of the language barrier being an issue, they're afraid of the students, they fear the students won't learn enough English. I'm like, oh, I got that. And I love walking into a situation where it is problematic, and I like to fix it. I like to divide and to help them see their way. And my enthusiasm is quite contagious. I tend to motivate them, and I love holding teachers' hands and really showing them what to do, not just telling them.
Yes, I love that. You also call yourself an edutainer. What is that?
Well, Cam, let me tell you something, baby. You know, back when I was in school, you could go in the classroom and sit down and you had to be quiet. And the teacher might go to sleep, she'd be so bored.
You know, but when I began teaching, education had taken a turn, and the focus shifted from what teachers are doing in front of a classroom. Like, it didn't matter how beautifully you spoke, how eloquently you presented your lesson. If those students were not responding to you and taking the knowledge you gave them to create and synthesize, you were failing them.
Yeah.
So the emphasis at the time that I became a teacher was, how well are you engaging your students?
Right.
How well are they responding to you? How well do you facilitate instruction? How well do you connect with them? What's the rapport with them? That was the expectation. So it forced me as a new teacher. I mean, it was easy for me. I was new. It forced me to dig deep and go, okay, correct. Connect. Okay, I'll use music. What do they like? You know, what is the TV show they're watching? What are the who are this? You know, what are their interests? So when you take all their interests and then you integrate it with the arts.
Yes.
You know, when you become big mama for them. When they get sleepy, I just go big mama on them. I just go, my dear, wake up, baby.
Like, what did she say? You know, I might come from London. I might change my voice completely and become somebody from a different country, and to, you know, and to stimulate the imagination with different personalities. I'm becoming an edutainer. I'm not just entertaining, I'm educating. I'm entertaining them too as well. You know, I'm different people. I might be from Mexico, Puerto Rico. I'm gonna be a different person. You know, if they want to go to sleep in my class, I'm gonna say no. It's time to wake up. They don't know what will fly them down. So an edutainer is a person who integrates the music, the arts, not only of their own talents, but they identify the students' talents, and we role play. I love role playing. I use this in my classroom. We're doing a math lesson or a reading lesson. Okay, Jamarcus, take one. Let's go. And they're like, oh my gosh, she is so crazy. She is so fun. And so it feels like they're playing. But I do have my glasses, and I'll take them off. I know those are glare. Producer said those are glare, but I do have my moments. I'm wearing my bun, and I'm walking around the room, and I'm monitoring work and students, and I have my hands behind my back. You do see, so when you walk into my room, you don't know what you're going to find. You might find Medea, you might find Lupita de Puerto Rico, and you might find Wagner with her apron on and her apple earrings, and you hear no one talking, and everyone's working. So that being an edutainer allows me to make the classroom my stage, but I still sacrifice the rigor that is necessary to really challenge learners to be their best.
I love it. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back with SHANEDRIA WAGNER.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. For a limited time, get $16,000 off all in-stock Cadillac 2019 XT5 crossovers and $19,000 off all in-stock 2019 CT6 sedans. Or experience the first ever 2020 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury Collection, only $519 with $1 down for 39 months lease. Or purchase and receive 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. Drive the new 2020 Cadillac XT4, only $399 a month, or the new 2020 XT5, only $429 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase the XT4 or XT5 and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, truck accident, car accident? Was someone texting and ran into the back of you, not paying attention? It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a call, Attorney Willie Powles. We'll fix it today. The number is 281-881-2457. Again, that number is 281-881-2457. We'll fix it today. Call Attorney Willie Powles.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, thank you so much for coming back. We're talking to SHANEDRIA Wagner. Hey, lady.
Hey, bonjour.
Love it, love it, love it. We were just talking about a little bit of the aspects of edutainer, trilingual education consultant. What about being an author?
Oh my.
I know.
So I became an accidental author because when I began my career as a bilingual education teacher, there were not many materials for the students. So I began writing a book about homophones. Then I wrote a book about phonics. I wrote workbooks first to compensate for the lack of materials for my students. And it was fun creating original materials for my students to reinforce the English concepts, those rudiments of English. And then as I neared my 30s, I used writing as therapy. I wrote my first poetry book called Phases. Form of therapy. I just wrote some poems and I was sharing them with other teachers. I had never intended to publish them.
Right.
And then teachers were saying, you need to publish this. You need to put this in a book because this is good. And so when they gave that encouragement, I went ahead and self-published my first book and began selling them. And I've actually probably given away more than I've sold. I away to police officers and they've stopped me on the road. You know, they've been very nice and professional. Oh, thank you. God bless you, officer. Here, take a book. You know, so I write. I love the profit aspect, but I love, motivating and encouraging people. And so, again, instructional materials first, and then I wrote poetry second. And then I wrote my first novel when I was battling depression. I had a very bad situation, and I said I can pick up a pen and write about it, or I can pick up something else. And so I ended up writing 2 fiction books as a result of that. And when I became a consultant, I began to read a lot more, and I went on the speaking circuit as a motivational speaker. And so I took one of my speeches and I expanded that into a motivational book. And how I learned Spanish. I mean, I'm just a writing machine. Writing to me became another one of my passions, and it wasn't anything that I aimed to do. But again, the situations that I found myself in necessitated that I research concepts, and I began to create as a result. And that created another stream of income for me. So when schools would hire me, they wouldn't just hire me as a presenter, they hired me as the author because they have workbooks to go along with my services. So I'd already written 8 books before I got married. I published only 4 of them, but we've done dozens of workbooks. So yes, writing is so empowering. And I also take pride in editing other people's books. I'm that grammarian to study about structure and punctuation. And so writing for me has, it's built a lot of bonds and relationships, and it gives me the ability to teach people when I'm not even sitting next to them. That's why I love it so much.
I love that about your passion about it. Now that COVID is here and we are battling it with health reasons, and education, again, as we were speaking of, is getting ready to get started with our children. What impact has it been on you personally, as well as what have you seen?
Well, so me personally, I will tell you this. Whenever you teach a group of individuals, if you're a really authentic teacher, it is impossible not to love the people you teach. It is impossible to not bond with them.
Yes.
The abrupt interruption of everything was quite traumatic for a lot of teachers, and it was for me, but I think I've had a few rodeos where I've been working with students, and then a few times in the 20 years been consulting, where something happened abruptly, and those kids were from me. It happened twice in my career, and I stayed in bed 2 weeks once when it happened, because I promised, and I was going to be there for them, and then something happened contractually where I couldn't continue. So I've been through that before, losing, like being with them on Monday, talking about and aspirations, and they're telling you what you mean to them, and then Wednesday you're not there anymore.
Right.
I had gone before, so when COVID happened, I was able to cope with it better, primarily because the schools that I service, are schools that I still service. We did not sever ties due to a contractual issue, but my physical presence with children had to cease. And so it was different, going online with them, for the remainder of the school year was an adjustment, because some of the students I was accustomed to seeing in class didn't log on for whatever reason. Maybe there was an internet connection, or maybe mommy has 3 children and she couldn't give the child a computer at the time that I was scheduled to work with that particular class. So it was not as drastic as it has been before in the past, but it was still semi-traumatizing. There are certain students, and we know their stories. We know, I work in schools a lot of times where students may have issues at home, and so we might know about their stories. And so then I began to worry about, this student, is that student eating today? Or how is this student's grandmama doing? Because I know his mama died and his daddy's in prison, and grandmama is all he has, and she has hypertension and she just had surgery. You're worried about your students.
Yes.
So that was traumatic,
Yeah.
But thank God, we have technology, unlike 100 years ago. But yeah, so that was traumatic. The cessation of the communication with certain students was very, very traumatic. But we made the best of it, and I was able to work with the students on an abbreviated schedule. Frustrating, because I knew that the level of instruction was not what they were accustomed to. I might be accustomed to seeing one class for 2.5 hours a day, and that was pushed down to 1 hour.
Right.
But it also gave me a chance to see some other students, because the school had to kind of troubleshoot. So instead of Wagner being, with 4th grade and 3rd grade, I got to work with the 2nd graders, and that was a joy to see 2nd graders who will be the 3rd graders next year. And they amazingly renewed my faith every day. I mean, every day that I logged on, just seeing their little faces, in the kitchen or at the table, and their energy and their optimism did something to me. So when you teach students, not only are you giving, you're receiving a lot from those students. So I would say that, me personally, that's how it affected me personally. We did lose income. We did have a setback. One of the campuses that we work with, I guess, once it was decided there would be no test, they thought, oh, because I'm the score woman. I'm the score raising woman. So I guess schools, charter school, they don't really have the support that public schools have. So
Right.
to kind of their money, they said, we might have to pass on the services for now. And that was a big blow. But I was thinking more about people who haven't worked. So to transition, technology. So I keep a lot of tools in my toolbox.
Yes.
So even though I do consulting in the daytime, I also have a tutoring business. So we just reconfigured it. It was okay. Now we're gonna, now it gave me a chance to sit down and go to our website that we have using. Our pupils have been going on free of charge for years, watching videos, both instructional and musical. And I said, you know what? I had not had time prior to this to sit down and make up tests on this website. I had not had time to actually reach out to the general public and say, hey, educators, would you want to take a Spanish for Educators class in a group? It gave me a chance to be the entrepreneur that I am. I adapt to situations, and the devil will not win. So I began to go into explore other avenues. And I had my first class of educators. I made a quick, $800 in 24 hours after I marketed it. I got a handful. They became my pilot. So there was a big income blow. But again, I always prioritize health over wealth. I know he didn't bring me this far to leave me. So, and I was thinking more about those who had less. My heart was just so focused on those who had less. I couldn't focus on our issues.
Right.
So, yeah, it forced us to reconfigure some things, to explore some other avenues. And my children loved it. My children were happy. Even though we're going through this pandemic, mommy's home. Mommy's not rushing out at 7 o'clock in the morning, getting home at 8 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Mommy's here all day long. So the little things became really big things. Right. So personally, it gave us a chance to revamp, redo some marketing strategies, do another marketing video, and just sharpen those skills. My husband and I make a great team. We bought 2 new green screens. We just got busy and focused on what we could control. So that, to answer the question, is how COVID affected me personally. I will not whine and bicker about the things I lost, because we all know he can give you that and 10 times more.
Yes. I love that. I love the fact that you brought that up, because many of the teachers that are at home only understood teaching. And I like what you did by telling them, you just gave them a nugget of what they could be doing now to make additional income.
Absolutely. The internet is, lots of people have shows.
Yes.
Lots of people have podcasts.
Yes.
Lots of people go live. But, your content is all what will distinguish you. That's what will distinguish you from the competition. I don't really view people as competition. I promote your show.
Yeah,
I promote other.
Yeah.
I can't handle all the work that comes to us sometimes.
Yes.
So I think it's time for people. I think what people should do is focus on sharpening those skills.
Yes.
I know many authors. I don't know many writers. Those who truly study the craft, who are going to take that time to take some classes, to read some books, skills, and really make sure they're crafting a sentence or a story that will touch the, but not compromise the intellect that should be there, or the grammatical soundness, or the we shouldn't craft poor works of art and put it out there just to make money. Some people, definitely. But if you want to have longevity in anything, be it consulting, be it ownership, you have to have a good product. You've got to nurture your content.
I like that.
Nurture content and study.
Yes. Because during this time, so many are depressed sometimes. They're in their home and they're saying, what may I do? And this is really an opportunity. Like you said,
it is
a huge opportunity.
It is a great opportunity, because the way I see it is this, 100 years ago, when there was, the Spanish flu, they call it. People our forefathers didn't have internet. They didn't have TV.
Yes.
They didn't have, look, you can't be physically next to people, but that might be good, because you might not brush your teeth on time one morning. You don't have to, your spouse has to deal with it, but look, you have privacy. But what I'm saying is that we have ways to connect with people. And that's important more now than ever, that we reach out, that we encourage, that we motivate, because Some people are living alone,
Yes.
able to physically be around people. You can't hug, you
Yes.
can't feel other people physically, but you can feel them emotionally and spiritually. So
Yes.
now is a time, I think, put it out there, motivate each other. And for me, I'm like a little puppy in the morning. You know how the puppies wake up and they're ready to go out for their walks. That's my only time I get to get out. I get out for my walks. I do not go anywhere. And but again, when you're a nerd like me, I grew accustomed to being in the house for months at a time, right? I mean, that means like you get a bag of potato chips, potato chips, a bag of your favorite chips, your favorite snacks. Oh, heaven. I got my socks on, had put on my little smell good lotion, got me a book, turned the TV off. That time that you have home, time for you to not focus not on what you can't do, focus on what you can do. But mental illness is real. Yeah. Some of us do need medication. We should not be ashamed of that. And we should not be ashamed to say, I need help. Yeah. I'm lonely. I'm scared. But what I have found, Cam, that has helped me as a person who is hypertensive and pre-diabetic, getting that walk, getting those in running, even if you go in your backyard, it has changed my world. It gives you a moment to kind of break away from things you can't control. And again, if you have faith, he's working. Even when you don't see it. You're not supposed to see it. You're supposed to focus on what you can focus on. And at the same time, you will not only get healthful, okay, and fit those clothes you couldn't fit. You'll get that weight down. You get those numbers down, and you'll live longer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's time for us to pull together and not shame people for being depressed and understand they need more help than others. It's okay to not be okay.
Right. It is. It is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. What obstacles have you overcome? I know it's.
Well, when people look at your resume, they'll often say, "Oh my gosh, your resume is so impressive." I mean, oh, you did this and you did that, and I said, "Baby, look, that's just the resume. That's just what's on paper." And then let me pull you aside. Let me tell you what I've been through. Because I don't use the things I've overcome as crutches or reasons to not succeed. It inspires me. So, I was born to a teenage mom, who was an amazing mother. My mom wasn't perfect, but she was amazing. I mean, she sacrificed for her two girls. And I always tell children, don't you ever get too big for your britches and feel like, well, I got a degree, my mom gonna have a degree. Excuse me, that blue collar money is what helped you get where you got. So wonderful mom, but still she was a single mom. And and then there are obstacles you have to overcome that come along with that. Her having to work while we were, at home. And sometimes we were attended and sometimes we weren't attended.
Right.
And some of the things that I went through are things that I did I shouldn't have been doing, and I caused problems. So, but meeting my daddy at 19, not knowing my dad growing up, that did cause some issues in some ways. I have battled depression. It didn't really come to a head until I was in college, and I thought that was the best move I ever made. I'm so proud of that. I never cared about the stigma. I never cared about the rumors. I never cared about what they said. I knew I needed help and I got it, and I'm better for it. So I'm glad today that there's no stigma. That's the biggest obstacle. I think it was the sadness and depression. My sister was serving in the military, and we used to fight when we were younger. And when Desert Storm happened, it was January 16th, and I was sitting in a meeting at Texas A&M and a pageant meeting on a Sunday with my pageant director, Penny Ditton-Willer, who's my Facebook friend, and someone barged into the office and said, "We just bombed Kuwait." And my world came crashing down because all I thought was, oh my God, my sister's gonna die. Get along. Oh my God. So there I was, my junior year, new AKA. I love my AKA.
Shout out to him.
Oh gosh, I was one of the big wigs on campus. I mean, I had everything going for me. Why would I be sad? Well, I had that to wrestle with.
Right.
That paralysis of the what ifs with my sister. That hit that knocked the wind out of me like nothing had ever. And I struggled with keeping this facade. Success, you're writing articles, speaking out for things happening on the campus. You're being interviewed. You have contacts with former students. You have it made, girl.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be happy right now. That fear of your sister who's 2 years younger than you, who could be gone at any moment, and you're afraid of her dying, that was just a lot for me to deal with. And I couldn't focus and I couldn't concentrate. Hallelujah, I made it. But that was the tip that pushed me over. And then all the other things that I dealt with in my childhood kind of came out.
Yeah.
You follow me? So overcoming that obstacle taught me a very important lesson, because January 16th was the day I hated. And years later was the day my son was born. And I was so depressed that semester that I could not focus. And I would never forget, I was nominated for a lot of awards that year. And Parents Weekend, I got that award. And little did I know, the weekend that I was getting all those Aggie awards, and I spent all this time worrying and being in the twilight zone and not focusing. And my sister flew to Houston, got leave, and didn't tell me. She flew to Houston, and they drove her to College Station for her to watch me get that award. They didn't send you away yet? They didn't send you to Desert Storm? I thought you were gone, But right after that, they did send her away. And the worrying started again. So it was she's been deployed 5 times. And the most recent time she was deployed was when I was pregnant with my son. And she walked in my room. In fact, she walked in this very spot I'm sitting in right now. And I put it together because she just graduated from Thurgood Marshall School of Law. And they were sending her away for a year to Iraq. And she had a young son, and I was pregnant with my son. And I was like, I'm scared, and she said, look at me. She's so strong. She said, if I don't come back, it wasn't meant. How did she do this? How does she? That's why she's a soldier and I'm not. But I held it together until she left, and we took a picture. And she left, and where she was bombed. She texted me, emailed me one day, pray for me. We just got hit. The whole base shook. But God has kept her through that, and she's home now. So I learned a very valuable lesson that worrying, although difficult to not do, does you no good. The time that I spent worrying was wasted time.
Yeah.
God was moving the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cry today. I was trying to be. I put my makeup on. I got the new mascara, kind that's waterproof. So we'll see how.
That sounds good. Let's do one thing. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back with SHANEDRIA WAGNER.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. Drive the new 2020 Cadillac XT4, only $399 a month, or the new 2020 XT5, only $429 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase the XT4 or XT5 and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, truck accident, car accident? Was someone texting and ran into the back of you, not paying attention? It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a call, Attorney Willie Powles. We'll fix it today. The number is 281-881-2457. Again, that number is 281-881-2457. We'll fix it today. Call Attorney Willie Powles.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. For a limited time, get $16,000 off all in-stock Cadillac 2019 XT5 crossovers and $19,000 off all in-stock 2019 CT6 sedans. Or experience the first ever 2020 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury Collection. Only $519 with $1 down for 39 months lease. Or purchase and receive 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we are back. I'm excited. SHANEDRIA Wagner, my friend. Hey, lady.
Hello, how are you, Cam?
Doing good, doing
My
good.
Whitley voice. I'm doing my Whitley voice now, trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
We're going to do a shout out to your sorority sisters.
Yes, to the beautiful, smart, creative, eloquent, erudite women of the first sorority established women of color, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Good afternoon.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What motivates you, lady?
Oh gosh, what motivates me?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would say desire.
Yeah.
Desire to ensure that children that I encounter, or just people that I encounter, benefit from my talents. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them, I want to see them make it. I think that my story is amazing. I've been afforded some really wonderful opportunities, but unfortunately, that's not the norm for the children who may have my apartment complex.
Right.
Everybody had an opportunity to go to college on a full scholarship.
Right.
Not everybody had the mentors or the access to things that I did.
Yeah.
And so it's my responsibility to make sure that I go back and give back. You have to go back and give. That's what motivates me. I think the plight of people, when I say my people, I mean my human race, but in particular African-American people, because while people of all ethnicities have poured into me, we still cannot overlook the trends in the gap. And we look at not discrepancies. What am I looking for? The words. When you have the gap in income, you have the gap in education access, you have the gap in the healthcare.
Yes, disproportionate. It's disproportionate.
Disproportionate. Yes, disproportionate. You have so many societal ills that are us. That, geez, I mean, that me is that desire to make sure that I pour everything I have, giving back, because so much has been given to me.
Oh, wow.
So much.
Yeah. And you're so right about that. And I say to so many that, yes, it's all lives matter, but Black Lives Matter for us is such crucial things for us. And I, too, want us to be our best. And that's what I love about you. You really pour into us. And you want us to have truly, truly the best. And you exemplify that.
Thank you, Cam. I often say that if all lives matter to everybody, there would be no need to assert Black Lives Matter. I'll say that again. If all lives mattered to everybody, there would be no need to assert that Black Lives Matter. And although, and I embrace or espouse that notion. I mean, we have to say it because the uniqueness of Black people is undeniable.
Right.
I remember at A&M, somebody asked, well, what makes the Black people so different from, look at the other groups. I'm like, yes, we should look at the other groups. Yes, look at our Jewish brothers and sisters who went through stuff in 1492. They've been going through stuff before the Holocaust.
Right.
Through the Holocaust, came to this country, were discriminated against, were relegated to ghettos, could only teach at HBCUs, lived beneath their means and got into military. I get that. Lots of groups had to overcome things, but we have to overcome a lot more. I mean, you're brought to the country and they're saying, oh, well, slavery ended years ago. Okay, slavery meant ended nominally and name only, but the oppression didn't.
Right.
So even though free by the 13th Amendment. Then you had Jim Crow, and then you had discrimination in housing practices and in bank loans and in education. And so when I think they're not really aware of that. They think that neighborhoods look the way they look because we want them that way. No,
Right.
you have to, and it's difficult for people to understand that you cannot examine the current situation without
Right.
looking at the
Right.
implications. And yes, from within our race, we do have people within our race. We got to get together.
Yes.
Okay. Because, and we get that too. And we're outraged about that too. But that does not excuse or justify what was done to us from a systemic perspective.
Absolutely. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
you can never, ever, you can't blame me for what happened to me. I'm sorry.
Right. And the issue with what happened to George Floyd was very visual to the world because many were at home at the time, and many were able to see a life being taken. Someone was breathing, someone was existing, someone was alert. And during that video, during that time, you saw breath leaving the person. You saw them no longer being alive.
I think that people need to understand that, what happened to George Floyd has been happening.
Yes.
And I don't think people understand the reason police forces were brought into existence. They were brought into existence at the end of slavery to reincarcerate. Okay. They're police officers, sheriffs, their main job was to go capture runaway slaves. I should have been a slave, but okay. All right. And we understand the police force has evolved because you have people of color who are police officers, and some of them are crooked too. But the point is that whenever we've had these situations, there have always been people who've said, well, let me see what happened. I wasn't there.
Right.
I want to see what happened in the beginning. Okay, well, you saw.
Yes.
Whether you saw him walk to the store, whether you saw what transpired in the store, you saw enough. Okay, he was breathing. Now he's not breathing.
Right.
He wasn't resisting. Now he's not breathing. There was a knee on his neck. Now he's not breathing.
Right.
He was breathing, pleading for his life. Now he's not not breathing. So I think for many people, I think with the pandemic already going on,
Right.
already suffering, and on top of this, at a time like this,
Yes.
and on top of it, I never went to a protest because I was fearful of contracting COVID. But for some people, they were just so fed up, they went out there on the streets anyway. And I was afraid of the consequences. I was afraid of the disease or the spread of COVID. But I understand the outrage. Like, this is, we're watching you on camera. There's no debate about what happened. We don't have to get this witness's testimony and that we saw with our own eyes. And we heard pleading with you to get off this man's neck, and you did not do it.
Right.
Some people who had maybe turned a blind eye or deaf ear, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But for most of us, we were like, now you see. Now you see what we've been trying to tell you. Now you see what we've been trying to tell you. And then, and as far as whatever decisions he made, again, this is what I look at. If you knew all the stuff I did, see, it's one thing when your stuff's put on blast and everybody knows what you did.
Yeah.
It's another thing when your stuff wasn't on blast, or all your stuff put on you, but you know what you did. And he's had to give you grace and mercy because you know you weren't right and you did some things. If you look at those 10 commandments, you can check off I did this. Like you're a saint. And no matter how terrible he whatever he'd done that was terrible, I've done some terrible things too.
Yeah.
Okay, it's relative.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say my terrible is better than his terrible. The bottom line was he didn't deserve death. That man was not the judge and jury of that man.
Yes.
And if he be incarcerated or whatever, that's what he should have gotten, not death.
Right.
So the irony of it is when you look at people throughout history, who have held philosophies that our lives didn't matter. And these have statues made for them. I don't know what they said on their deathbed.
Right.
I don't beg for forgiveness before they went. I don't know if George talked to the Lord right there. He could have been talking to the Lord right there because he said, I'm done.
Right.
I'm through. He said it. It's like you don't know if he said, Lord, forgive me for all my sin. He was already saved.
Right.
Already working in the church. So Christians to be not trying to understand, you can label him all you want, but we're not going to label him.
Right.
I'm not going to label our life by a portion of who he was. I'm so sorry. And my heart still goes out to his family.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's redemption for the least of it. There's redemption.
Yeah.
They may ask for forgiveness right there.
Yes.
He may have already repented. We don't know what's in that man's heart. We don't know what his prayers were like.
Right.
But we know what happened to him.
We do. We saw it.
Right.
We saw it. What would you like to leave with the viewers?
Let's see. I want to leave with viewers that you're not alone. Whether you're an educator who's concerned about your health, whether you're an educator who's not concerned about your own health, but you're concerned about your colleagues, whether you're a parent who has it all together, you have it all mapped out, or you're a parent who doesn't know which way you're going, just understand that you're not alone, and it's okay to not be okay, and seek help or get questions answered. So we're redoing our website, Cam, and on that site we'll have a parent portal where parents can come and pose questions. And this is just my service to all mankind. This is not for a fee. I want them to be able to come to that site and say, here's my question. If I don't know the answer to that question, I want to be able to direct them to who does.
Yes.
Just know that we are working behind the scenes. You may not see the help coming, but it is coming.
How do people get in touch with you?
Well, we have several pages. We have a Spanish Etc. Pearland page on Facebook, and also SpanishETC.com is that site, that website. We also have SHANEDRIA.com, which is our website, which presents the consulting business and those services. And we're about to redo it. And I believe the provider we currently have is having some issues that's under construction, but bear with us. But if you don't want to reach out on social media, you can always email me at shanwag@shanwag.com. That's SHANWAG@SHANWAG.com.
I appreciate you, lady. This has been exciting. It has been entertaining, and it's been informational. My God.
Thank you, Cam. You're amazing. You're my hero. I love everything about your show.
I love
Your team was very professional. I love it all. Let me know when you get some Cam Hill shirts made. I'm gonna give me one.
There you go. There you go. I appreciate you, lady. Have a great one.
God bless you.
Love you. God bless you.
Thank you. Love you
Take care.
too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, thank you guys for so much. On tomorrow, we will have Nephew Tommy here. You got to come back. See you tomorrow. Bye.